Hello everyone. Something I want to talk about today is a very... I don't know if I've seen it talked about before with regards to demo. And it relates to a very familiar experience for new demos, which is you're just playing the game, doing whatever, taking a fight, just any of the things that you do when playing the game, and you right-click to det, and then suddenly you die, and you realize, oh wait, I was standing under my trap, or there were sticks there of my own, and I didn't even realize, and now I'm dead. Deading on yourself is something that absolutely happens, but as players get more experienced, it kind of just stops happening. And why is that? And I mean, at the basic level, it's just that you start to intuitively feel where your stickies are, but there's a bit more to it than that. And that's a very valuable skill to have as a demo that really just comes from experience, is being able to kind of intuitively feel where your stickies are at. So not only is this important to just avoid, randomly killing yourself, but it's also important for being able to properly det on people, and just kind of feel out, what kind of control you have. Being able to remember what stickies you have trapped. Even being able to remember, for example, if I shoot 5 stickies on the point to trap last, and then shoot 3 stickies elsewhere to just kind of have a backup trap somewhere, maybe try and kill a post-uber player, just any of the value you might get there. If that's my layout, and suddenly a soldier peeks a door and shoots a rocket at the point and then knocks my stickies away, I know, wait, the first 5 that I shot are on the point, and then the last 3 are the backup trap. So I can just reshoot the point, and then the backup trap is still there, because the force deading goes in order of the stickies shot. So just little things like that is able to kind of optimize what you're setting up, and you might set a trap or not set a trap because you find that, one bundle of 4 somewhere is more valuable than another bundle of 4 elsewhere. And if you were to put a separate trap, then the more important one would get forced at. So, yeah, it's a useful skill in just being able to optimize how you use your stickies, and also just kind of knowing where they're at. But another thing is, in the case of an enemy demo, it's kind of important to visualize and think of where their stickies are and keep a mental note of that. So it can be something very simple, such as, you hear their demo trapping one area of the map. It's pretty safe to assume that the other area is not trapped. Now, of course, they might have time to trap that other side, and that is something that, if you have the timing for it, like trapping up, for example, Snakewater lower, and then rotating to trap up Saw while they can hear you and they think lower is not trapped. Something like that, it can be nice, but most of the time, yeah, you can identify where their demo is trapping based on what you can hear, and you can go elsewhere. But even in the case of like a mid-fight, if a demo shoots a stick at me and it goes past me, then a lot of the time I'm just kind of avoiding that area for a little bit, just in case he's leaving a carpet. And leaving carpets when you're kind of pretending to single det is a powerful strategy. On a mid-fight, on a pressure, classic example is like process second, pressuring into it from mid. You can just carpet any of the ramps and like leading up to Sidespire, and it's difficult to see because it's kind of a sloped surface, so there's some perspective shenanigans going on. But also, it's positioning that the other demo is going to really want to be in, or a scout, or a medic, or any of these things. Plus, it's a pressure that you're typically looking for single det damage. So when you shoot past someone and don't det, a lot of the time they're thinking, okay, well, he just single det, he's not doing anything, I didn't take any damage, we're good. When in reality, it's a little pricklier than that, and yeah, there is a lot of danger being presented to just a 3 sticky carpet somewhere. So that's something to consider. And yeah, just when a demo's shooting behind me, a lot of the time I can assume they're carpeting depending on like the level I'm playing at. And that's an important thing to realize, because yeah, sure, you can look back, and I will look back sometimes just to verify if there's a carpet or not. But a lot of the time, you can be thinking mentally, just kind of another step ahead of, okay, well, if this area is now inaccessible and I'm kind of forward, I don't want to just get fully trapped off, so how do I, like, route myself? So in the case of, like, maybe a Snakewater mid where Demo's trying to carpet, like, I might route around the shed or something and back up. And basically, by being able to kind of keep a mental note of where the enemy's stickies are, you are able to formulate a plan before it even becomes a problem necessarily. And also by doing so, and by making like a carpet less effective, you are also making their demo less effective, because, you know, he's used 4 stickies for something that won't do anything, right? And that's quite valuable. And, you know, in the case of maybe a Snakewater mid-fight, suddenly, you know, your teammates are much better equipped to contest the height, because their demo is shooting useless stickies as a carpet that you're avoiding, rather than shooting the height. So having that kind of internal radar for stickies, where both you shoot them and the other demo, is a really valuable tool to have, especially in the case of knowing where the enemy demo sticks are, is really valuable on any class, but particularly like demo or medic, in my opinion. And it's just quite helpful, and not a skill that ever gets talked about, I think. It is something that kind of just comes with the experience of playing a lot of demo, is you just sort of feel out where your stickies are. You just tend to develop that short-term memory of where your sticks are and the order that you shot them for when you're setting up traps or anything to that effect. And it can be quite nice. Now, of course, stickies can't get knocked around and whatnot, and there are times where, like, I'll det and then get a kill that I didn't expect. Just because there's some disconnect between where I expect my stickies to be and where they actually are. But by and large, it's still a helpful skill to develop, is just that short-term memory. Where are my stickies? Where are their stickies? Until you det, and then you just immediately forget it. And yeah, you just, it's that memory cache. So anyway, I think that's all I really have to talk about the topic. I guess this did turn out to be a bit of a short one. But yeah, just knowing where your stickies are at, where the enemy demo stickies are at, helps both. And preventing yourself from... oh, and one thing I should talk about, actually, is when you develop this skill, you start to kind of identify when you're under a trap that you're just much more vulnerable. Because if you are, for example... let's say you put up some basic traps in process choke and you want to peek choke. Well, if you peek choke while on your stickies, if you get bombed, you just can't really use stickies to defend yourself, because if at any point you det, you just die. So a lot of the time this leads to demos wanting to det those sticks just before they walk through that area. Because of course it is a good idea, generally speaking, to keep your stickies up and keep them active, unless you have a strong reason not to. Like, there's no reason to det your sticks unless a situation like you... unless you're getting damage with them. Or a situation like you walking under them is about to come up. So, another thing that you just get used to as you start to feel out... because there's just a weird sensation. You just feel so, like... it feels wrong and vulnerable to be under your own trap. Even if you're just, like, trying to play for some anti-bomb trap that you're under, and on disad, for example, and you're just spamming pipes. Like, it still feels sketchy. Like, what if I misclick? But anyway, yeah, interesting little skill for demo is that that short-term memory, just being able to know where those stickies are at, where the enemy stickies are at, and it overall makes you a more effective player. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.